through the English translations of every verse. So,
Yeah, just once if I would like to, otherwise I will not know the context.
Sure. So, Vinita Mataji, can you just quickly go? Yeah, so we read from verse number 90. 1 minute.
From 88, Mataji.
Okay. 88, Prabhu, we read till 99, 10 verses. So I'll quickly go to the translations. When it is all described about the Mahaprabhu's scholastic pastimes. When all the Vaishnavas saw the Lord, they told him, "Dear Nimai, please worship the lotus feet of Krishna. The body is temporary. It may be vanquished the next moment, but you are a sober person. What can we teach you?" The Lord smiled at the Vaishnavas and offered them obeisances. Then he left for school with his students. The Lord taught his students in the Chandi Mandapa within the courtyard of the fortunate Mukunda Sanjaya. As the Lord began to teach, his head was smeared with fragrant medicated oil that was given by some pious person. Nimai, the life of the universe, sat and taught in the midst of his many fortunate students. I am unable to describe or give a comparison for that wonderful scene. 95. It appeared that Lord Narayana was sitting in Badrikashram, surrounded by his disciples, headed by Sanaka. Lord Gaurachandra now enjoyed the same pastimes as when Lord Narayana personally taught his disciples. Sri Sachinandana is certainly the same Lord Narayana who resides in Badrikashram. The last verse for today. Therefore, the Lord of Vaikuntha enjoyed those same pastimes while relishing scholastic pleasures with his students. Hare Krishna. So these were the verses, Prabhu. You can take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm personally feeling the effect of some sannyas student or some Bhakti Vaibhava student put to examination on the spot. Now that you have to make sure that you answer these questions. So I'm getting such feeling now. So I'm sure if anything I'm going to speak, that will be purely from the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas. And if I goof up, you will know that that's my reality. The blue jackal's color has been completely washed away and jackal is now revealed. That will be the story. So I'll start with an invocation prayer. I'm right now in ISKCON of Noida in the guest house under the lotus feet of Shri Radha Govindaji, Gaur Nitai and Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. In their house, I hope they will give some intelligence to at least not share any nonsense, at least talk some useful things. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaham Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performs this wonderful Leela during his manifested pastime. And as a part of the Leela, he definitely confuses some people. He inspires some people. He delivers some people. And he ignores some people. When the Lord performs the pastimes, the people who are monists, the people who are self-centered, they all get confused because some people thought that this is just a scholarly person, but suddenly he is talking about those spiritual knowledge which are not even comprehended by great scholars. And for the innocent, when they come in contact with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Sankirtan mission, they get inspired. And those who are eager and desire to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are empowered. And those who are envious and dirty, they are ignored by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ramachandra Puri was in the category of being ignored by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was rejected or he was, ignored because of his enviousness. All the 6 Goswamis, because of their eagerness to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were empowered. All the devotees who thronged in, including animals, who came in contact with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with innocence, they were all inspired and engaged in Sankirtan mission. And all those who are monists and those who had some sort of alternative ideologies, they were confused. Of course, initially they were confused, but depends upon how their thought processes eventually evolved. So they fell in any one of these 3 categories, either being inspired or being engaged or empowered or ignored. In our journey to Krishna consciousness, it is imperative that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission is live, going on by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So each and every one of us should yearn to be empowered by Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission by the way of showing our desire and eagerness to be part of it. If not, at least stay in the zone of innocent so that we will get engaged. If you be in the 2 other extremes, it is very unfortunate. I am part of this course that is currently going on, the course on hermeneutics. So 2 sessions before, we had a very interesting discussion on the subject matter of Krishna Katha. Because we are talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's scholastic pastime. Mahaprabhu's scholastic pastimes are different in different circumstances. The way Mahaprabhu dealt with scholars from the time of him being Nimai Pandit till the time of him eventually became Krishna Chaitanya and also further up. So in that context, this whole course of hermeneutics is about how are we learning how are we relating how are we interpreting the Shastras, Are they in line with our Acharya's perspectives? How much of boundaries and opportunities we have for sharing our own realizations and reflections? Are we allowed to do that? So several topics are going on. Hari Parshad Prabhu took a very interesting part on that. Maybe some of you would have heard this before, some of you wouldn't have. Either way, I will definitely want to share that part in this context because I find it sort of relevant. I'm not sure how relevant, but at least I will speak for the pleasure of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Had I got little chance, probably I would have made some notes and some reflections, as I'm not a seasoned or a trained devotee, so I might need my time. So he was mentioning about how there are 3 types of Krishna Katha. In our learnings of Krishna consciousness, that there are 3 different types: a student and teacher, or 2 people who are conversing about the topics of Krishna Katha can have. So these 3 types will help us in understanding how this whole science of Krishna consciousness is circulated and passed down the parampara line, and how one should be careful in learning and assimilating it. Whilst explaining about Buddha Avatara, it is very clearly explained, even though Buddha is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is extremely important to make a note that we are supposed to respect Buddha Avatar, but we are not supposed to follow his instructions. And the reason of this is, Buddha Avatar came for a specific appearance, specific purpose, but what he presented is not fully complete, and some of them very incorrect also. Krishna, what he presented to Nanda Maharaja during the Govardhan Leela pastime is also something similar to that. Prabhupada writes there that Krishna spoke Mimamsa. Krishna spoke Karma Mimamsa to Nanda Maharaj, which Vaishnavas don't subscribe. And when Krishna presented in a very nice logic, in a very sweet manner, in a very convincing way. So eventually everybody, of course, Krishna did not only give Karma Mimamsa, Krishna gave a few other points also, but he gave Karma Mimamsa also. So like that, there are situations in the Shastras where the scholastic pastimes of the Lord sometimes has to be very clearly understood, and they need to be processed based on what I'm going to share. So there are 3 types of Krishna Katha. Number 1 type is the type called Vada. Vada means a conversation. Conversation refers to a student speaking to a teacher, disciple speaking to Gurudev, or 2 sincere practitioners trying to have a conversation. So this Vada, or you can also call it Samvada, is considered as a most recommended, obvious, and important way of having Krishna Katha. This Samvada or Vada has got few components. I am not exactly presenting what Hari Parshad Prabhu taught. I am also adding my reflections. So things which he did not say, but that's what I have understood and realized. So I am adding those realizations also. So when you do samvada, or when you do a vada, when you do a dialogue, when a guru teaches a disciple, it is absolutely important that the disciple need to learn, or the student need to learn, or in the dialogue, one need to learn from each other, not in a blind, foolish manner. One need to intelligently inherit, intelligently imbibe the knowledge that is being imparted. What is intelligently inherited, imbibed? It means we ask relevant questions and clarifications, as well as be ready to deny when we are not agreeing to that. It is not one, there are many times in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we have seen Arjuna, Parikshit Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, in their dialogue with their superiors, Krishna, Arjuna to Krishna, Dhruva Maharaj, Narada Muni, Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami, they were not just nodding their head for whatever the teacher was teaching. They asked questions. They denied certain recommendations which they didn't feel it correct, and they accepted what was taught nicely and what they could inherit. So samvada, or the normal recommended process to learn Krishna Katha, need, number one, somebody need to be intelligently hearing, which means I don't hear for the sake of formality. I don't hear sake of any other agenda, but I want to inherit and imbibe. And number two, it is not just heard, it is heard and applied and eventually preached, eventually shared. And number three in Samvada is about that a student is making the whole process of Krishna consciousness, making the whole process of learning much more relevant to the context, and be compassionate to the future generation also. So he is not only learning for himself, he is also learning and applying from a general para dukkha dukhi, so that Ramanujacharya, Arjuna, Dhruva Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, when they all asked their questions, Prahlad Maharaj, so they were not thinking around themselves, they were thinking way beyond. So from that perspective, in our learnings of, like Ramananda Rai and Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when they spoke to each other, in that samvada, in that conversation, several things were denied and several things were churned to go up in the ladder. So the last part of samvada that I want to say is that there could be multiple correct things relevant for multiple correct people, and what is relevant to us in our stage of consciousness need to be applied, and we need not jump up and or go low. So it is extremely important to set the relevance to the context. So this is a traditional way by which spiritual knowledge is taught or learned. There are other types that people generally do it, but they are not recommended in general unless and otherwise there are some extreme conditions. I will also talk about those extreme conditions, but at least the relevance wise, the second and third aspect of Krishna Katha, which is called Jalpa, and the third part is called Vitanda, or two non-recommended ways of hearing Krishna Katha. What is Jalpa? Jalpa is about a person who is trying to prove a point. And he is trying to make sure that this is how I am correct. I am right, and I would like to say how I am right, and I would like to prove my point. In Vedic learnings, this aspect, this mood of hearing and learning Krishna Katha is discouraged. When Digvijay Pandit came to meet Rupa Goswami did not even participate in the conversation, and he immediately, found ways and means to escape that, situation. The reason is Jalpa brings in mode of passion, Jalpa brings in animosity, Jalpa brings in situation where the necessary acumen for learning spiritual science is lost. In that state of mind, spiritual knowledge can never be taught or learned. And the third aspect, which is called Vitanda, which is called in typical, Indian conversations, we say Vitanda Vada. Vitanda Vada is to try to prove the other person wrong, how you are wrong, how you are incorrect in your view. This is like somehow or other, how it is one step further than the previous, stage of hearing or learning. So, in our Krishna conscious journey, like Paundraka, like Duryodhana, there are several people who have used Vitanda. They have used dry argument, dry logic, dry debate, just to prove their point. So I just wanted to say, in our learnings in Krishna consciousness, it is extremely important that we should not get into Vitandavada, because there the focal point is self-centeredness, and the focal point is also to prove how the other person is wrong. Self-centeredness anyway crept in even in the previous category of Jalpa, but in this category, it is not only I'm self-centered, I want to snub you down, I want to prove you wrong, I want to show you down, and that way we have mode of ignorance creep in. So in our normal course of learning Krishna Katha and Krishna consciousness, one should learn to have samvada, and in the process of samvada, one should learn to inherit the knowledge, and one should learn to apply them in our lives. One should make it relevant to their context and make it available to others, so that the science of Krishna consciousness can be circulated, distributed amongst the masses. Srila Prabhupada, when he traveled, when he preached, when he instructed his disciples, he was very particular in making sure that this knowledge is made available to everybody according to their intelligence, according to their understanding, so that the student could able to take up the science and apply in their life and also try to teach to others. Now, as I mentioned, there are extreme situations where acharyas as well as the Supreme Lord have used these two, Jalpa and Vitanda, also in a very positive manner. In the sense, the example that I gave of Krishna speaking to Nanda Maharaj, that was Karma Mimamsa, that is actually a Vitanda, that was actually a dry, logical argument. But Krishna used it in a very positive way. Srila Prabhupada debating with, some people, like the Prabhupada spoke to that cardinal, Prabhupada spoke to some reporters. Sometimes the other person comes in a very rude, abusive, or incorrect manner. So Srila Prabhupada uses sometimes this technique of Jalpa to say that how he is correct. And he tells in a manner that he wants to prove his point, but it happens to be a very positive way of engaging this quality of a speaker. So my action here is that to say that in our learnings in Krishna consciousness, in our association with scholarly knowledge, in our engagement with scholarly devotees, one should learn to classify the process of learning and should engage themselves only in samvada. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 10.32 or 10.31 that he says that I am that samvada. Like he was explaining how his opulences. So Krishna is explaining in dialogue, I am, vada. So I am the dialogue, I am that dialogue, which is a constructive dialogue, which is helpful in learning spiritual science. Of course, sometimes in the Shastra, these conversations, sometimes the Lord has performed the scholastic pastime where he had performed this Jalpa effect and Vitanda effect also. So that is meant for classifying, segregating, as preparing for his future, preaching mission. So I said there are 4 classification of people. So even though the Lord was performing such a pastime, those who were innocent and those who were, desiring to get service or service to the Supreme Lord, they were only waiting, like Gadadhara Pandit, Advaita Acharya, including Ishvara Puri. So they were waiting, when will the day come where the Lord will perform? When will the Lord get into his act? When will the Lord try to perform the pastime that he has come to, perform? They didn't get dejected, they didn't get, upset, they didn't leave the Lord. But they were waiting. But there were some other people who couldn't understand. Like those people who were next doors of Srivas Acharya, who were challenging Sankirtan, and they went and complained Chandkasi. So they couldn't comprehend what is going on. They couldn't understand who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. So from that perspective, the Lord's certain pastimes were also meant to reveal, meant to accept, meant to classify his devotees. And last but not least, to get someone inspired to take part in Krishna consciousness, to make sure that we get involved in our Krishna consciousness journey. The secret and the source of all these things is our desire level. It is very important to understand the Lord sitting as Paramatma in the heart. He constantly watches over our desire and he sanctions those desires. The Lord's blessings are like rainwater. When the rain comes, in different places in the ground, different trees and plants sprouts. In one place, thorny plants come. In another place, comes. In another place, grain comes. In some place, nothing comes. Even though the rain is hitting the ground the same way in all the places, in some places its effect is different. In some other places, its effect is different. And this difference in effect is nothing to do with the rain. The difference in effect is to do with the seed that is sown there, the nature of the soil that is present there. So my third reflection in this current context is for us to develop affinity, attachments, inclination, involvement in this process of Krishna consciousness, we need to watch out very deeply to our desire quotient. And when we watch very deeply to our desire quotient, Krishna sanctions them. If tomorrow we are going to suffer, it is also because of some desires that we have. So long as we try to remove the unnecessary seed, or what we call them weed, and try to retain the main seed, we will be really wobbling. So this part of hearing Krishna Katha, this part of having the right mindset, it is important so that when the rainwater comes, the right seed grow. So we need to keep our consciousness not in the confused category. We need to keep our consciousness not in the envious category. We need to either keep in the consciousness as an innocent, eager category, or the person who is ready to get involved in Krishna consciousness in an engaged manner, so that the Lord wants to empower us and engage us in a service. So when we keep our consciousness in that spirit and try to get involved with samvada, and that samvada is done with utmost desire to apply in our Krishna conscious journey, then naturally Bhakti Lata Beej starts to sprout up. And as it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Bhakti Lata Beej grows up and up and up and up and penetrate all the layers and eventually reaches the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So it is Srila Prabhupada's mercy, all coming together as a devotees and trying to practice, Krishna consciousness. So it is extremely important for us to acknowledge that fact that we are definitely fortunate. But if we do not capitalize on the fortune, if we do not work on this fortune that we are blessed with, we will be classified as most unfortunate also. That day Gauranga Prabhu was mentioning a point that Srila Prabhupada was telling. He was telling that a person is classified as unfortunate if in this human form of life, if he is not able to come in contact with devotees. But a person will be classified as most unfortunate if he came in contact with Krishna consciousness, but he eventually gave it up or did not take it further. So the idea is that we are all fortunate. We know the science of Krishna consciousness comes from parampara, and that knowledge is very nicely made available by Srila Prabhupada, which we need to learn to inherit, imbibe, apply, and eventually preach to others. So I said 3 reflections today. Reflection number 1 is about the aspect of how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deals with 4 different types of mindsets. One is about those who are monistic, those who are having ideology to limit the Lord's opulence to his monistic ideology. They get confused when they hear or see the Lord's pastime, or when they get in touch with this Krishna consciousness katha. Those who are innocent, definitely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers searches out them and give their blessings to them and include them in the Sankirtan mission. Those who are inquisitive, eager, and those who are already developed the desire to serve Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sankirtan mission has always empowered them, and because of that empowerment, the Sankirtan mission is further going on. And those who are envious in their heart, does not get the result of Krishna consciousness, Mahaprabhu ignores them. And if Mahaprabhu ignores them, then it is a very unfortunate situation. Then we discuss a second reflection about the 3 classifications of Krishna Katha, Vada, Jalpa, and Vitanda, and how it is important that we need to stay within the purview of Vada and Samvada, and does not get into proving our point, neither try to get into have unnecessary, irrelevant Vitanda Vada. And last but not least, for us to have this Krishna's mercy properly have an effect on us, we need to watch out for the seeds and weeds within ourselves. So that the seed is our desire, our eagerness, and our sincere, according to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, burning desire, so that when the rainwater, when the Lord's mercy is on our way, we will be able to take advantage of them, and the Bhakti Lata will sprout, and all the other unnecessary needs will be removed. So the desire within our heart is very nicely to be cultivated, and that gets cultivated when we are the Sangha Vaishnavas, and without offenses. If you are in the association, this desire gets further enhanced. So thank you so much. I am really sorry that for all the goof up from my end. I am sure I'll be forgiven. If not, ready for the whatever punishment. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thai Gaurav Premanande Hari Hari Bol. If I said anything irrelevant, please excuse me. Any questions, comments, reflections? I'm open to.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, please forgive me, Prabhu, for not sending the verses. And thank you, Vinita Mataji, for somehow or the other catching hold of Prabhu. Prabhu, I also apologize that the poster did not go on time. My verses didn't reach you on time. So I hope you would forgive us for this terrible blunder. But thank you so much for showing up and speaking so wonderfully. I really like this example of the rain. Krishna is so merciful, but yeah, sometimes there are thorn bushes, sometimes there is no life at all. Yes, Prabhu. But thank you so much for this very wonderful class. And thanks for all the help that you do to this entire Sangha. Hare Krishna.
All glory to Prabhupada. Any other thoughts, comments, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji, you were muted. Now I allowed everybody to unmute. So a very, very beautiful class, Prabhu. You were telling that you were not prepared, but you don't have to prepare. You have a lot of information within you and you're practicing from many years, Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. And thank you for coming in the last minute. I know when I called you were on the roads, but still you came on time and gave the class. Very grateful to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Sure, I'm going to walk with this crown that you gave me now, that I know everything. So I hope tomorrow I'm going to Vrindavan from here. I'm sure Krishna, as soon as he sees this crown, he's going to give a kick on my face. And better that I remove that crown and walk into Vrindavan now. I'm not sure if Srimati Radharani is going to let me in. That's nice. I was supposed to be in Vrindavan today, but then somehow I'm going tomorrow. So please bless me so that I could go to Ram. I'm just going for a day. I have another meeting in Agra. So I thought if I'm passing Vrindavan, I should I should be there.
Very nice. We are so humble, Prabhu. Please pray for all of us that we are also able
Another
to
crown.
One day.
The more the crown that you add, the more that I have a problem. In Bhagavatam, there's a verse that when the turbans in the head, if they are worn, we cannot bow down. So we have to better bow down. So anyway, all glory to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. As I put a comment in the chat, but I wanted to say, very simply, succinctly, you gave a fantastic class. And so I'm just, I'm not going to make that crown for you. Just, I don't want to burden you with that, but it was very, very good. I mean, and you probably didn't go to Vrindavan because we needed to hear that class. So, so I think I get to see Krishna's hand in everything more and more. So thank you so much, Hare Krishna, and please give our respects to the Dham, and please request blessings for all of us who are trudging along at this path, trying to avoid those thorns as we go. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. All glory to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming. And as you in the starting, you were saying that it was a test for you because all of a sudden it has to be a spontaneous class. And I think so you succeeded really, really, really well in your test, so-called test, as you said. But of course you have to, Prabhu, because many years of practicing Krishna consciousness definitely yields some fruit. And of
This
course,
portion of the recording I will maintain because some scholars in Bhakti Sangha group, passed my test. So I will show it everyone. Dekho, mera test pass ho gaya.
we are no scholars, but yes, I really like your class, Prabhu, definitely. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, and thank you for coming. Before that, I was put on spot and I was just praying. I was blabbering something, but I was same time praying that Prabhu, please come fast, please come fast.
Mataji, it was a fantastic overview. Yeah.
So, but thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And as Panishri Mataji said that, yes, there is Krishna's hand in every situation, in every activity. We need to hear from you. You need to give us your association. So that's why your Vrindavan trip got little delayed, till a little postponed, but please pray for us. Do remember Bhakti Sangha, Prabhu. I really request you, please, please, please remember Bhakti Sangha as soon as you touch the dust of Vrindavan.
Because of Bhakti Sangha, I'm getting Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, I'll have to be in Bhakti Sangha, so I will do that.
Please, please, please remember all of us, all of your mercy. Thank you. All the best for your trip, for your upcoming trip to Vrindavan, to Agra. Wish you all the very best. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, koti koti dandavat pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki yes, Prabhuji, Ji, Kirtidas Sundari Mataji said that we need blessing. Please pray for all Bhakti Sangha Mataji. They enter in Shridham Vrindavan Dham by the mercy of Srimati Shishi Tulsi Maharani and Srimati Shishi Radha Shyam Sundar. We will enter Shridham Vrindavan Dham by your eyes, Prabhuji. Pray for all of us. Koti koti dandavat pranam. And one more request with permission of Ji Kirtidas Sundari and Ji Priti Vilasini. Can you sing 2 lines of any bhajan?
Sure, if there is no questions, I will sing a bhajan and end the session. Looks like there's none, so I'll sing this song Vrindavana Ramyasthana because I'm going tomorrow. So we'll sing that song and end today's session. I have another class to attend, so I'll sing this in end. Vrindavana Ramyasthanam Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Manohara Vrindavana Ramyasthanam Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Manohara Avrita Kalindi Nile Raja Hamsa Keli Kore Tahe Shobhe Kanaka Kamala Tara Madhye Hema Pita Ashtadale Veshtita Ashtadale Pradana Naika Tara Madhye Ratnastane Bosiya Chendui Jane Shama Sange Sundari Radhika Porupala Rasi Amiya Poriche Kasi Hasya Pari Hasha Samba Shane Narottama Dasa Kohim Nitya Leela Sukhamoy Sadai Spuruka Mora Mane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Dham ki jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We are approaching Kartik very soon, and it just feels like Kartik month has already started. Very nice bhajan, Glories of Vrindavan, beautiful song. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Danvat Pranam always to Srila Prabhupada. And you gave your valuable time, though you're very busy. And thank you for your association, Prabhuji. We're very grateful, and we look for your association in future. And if there are no questions, we'll end the call here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Shri Caitanya Bhagavat class ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai
jai.
Jai.
Jai Prabhuji ki
Prabhuji
Hare
ki
Krishna Prabhuji.
jai.
Thank you very much. Dandavat
Thank
pranam
you
to
so
all.
much, Papaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
everyone for
Krishna,
joining
Hare
today's
Bol.
class. We'll meet tomorrow.